Hello everyone. I know you've just seen me outside doing car parking, but there are a couple of things that I needed to chat to everybody across all three campuses in regards to, and that is about volunteers and also what's happening with camps, excursions and chapels going on through the rest of this year. So I just wanted to go through those briefly with you all today. Firstly, we'll start with the good news. As of Tuesday the 21st of July, which is the first day back for students, Monday the 20th of July is a pupil-free day, but Tuesday the 21st of July is when the students come back. That is the day of return for volunteers, which is very exciting, and I know that our staff across all three campuses are very excited about having our wonderful volunteers back with us. However, before anybody can come back and volunteer in any of our three schools, there are two things that they need to do. Anybody who has already been registered as a volunteer at any of the three schools should have already been sent what we call a recommencement document. And it is absolutely critical that before you are able to come back and volunteer at the school, you need to read that document. If you have not been a registered volunteer before and you wish to, then you need to contact your relevant person at each school and have a conversation with them, because there's quite a few things that you need to do before you're allowed to be a volunteer anyway. So this is specifically to those volunteers who are already registered with the school. You should have received this document. If for some reason you haven't and you are a registered volunteer, then please just contact your relevant school office and ask them to send it to you and to make sure that you get it. Once you've read that, the second thing you need to do is that you need to complete what is called the COVID-19 Return to Volunteering Survey. And this will ask you a number of questions regarding the safety and the capacity for you to be able to meet our social distancing and hygiene requirements to be able to come back as a volunteer. So it's really important that you not only read the document, but you also fill in the survey. Once you've done that, the Survey Monkey, which is what it's done by, will lodge you as a person who is now able to be utilised again in one of our three schools as a volunteer, and it means that the school will be able to contact you and you'll be able to start volunteering again. So if you're able to get that done between now and the beginning of next term, you should be able to return as a volunteer to our school almost immediately, and that would be fantastic. We are definitely looking forward to having you back with us. The second thing is around camps and excursions, and I do need to let you know that this affects both Salisbury East and Strathalbyn, that the Sri Lanka trip, which was going to go ahead at the end of next term, has been cancelled. Nobody's going to be flying internationally this year, maybe apart from a few people being able to nip over to New Zealand. And also Sri Lanka is not COVID free, and neither are we, and borders are closed, and so therefore we're actually only one term away, and all the things that need to be organised to make that trip a success are just not possible in the timeline that we've got left, and so unfortunately we've had to cancel that trip. For Salisbury East, the second thing that I need to let you know is that our second Normanton trip, which would have gone ahead at the end of next term as well, has also been cancelled. Firstly, Queensland is not allowing people to come in at this stage without quarantining. And secondly, Indigenous lands, both in Western Australia, the Northern Territory and Queensland, are still off limits because of the vulnerability of Indigenous people to the virus. So therefore, we can't actually get to Normanton anyway. But also, having spoken with the principal up there, Mr. Jones and he have chatted quite significantly, and they have said they are not keen to have people come up and visit them this year, but are looking forward to be able to running the program again in 2021. Now, all of those who had put their names down for both Sri Lanka and Normanton have been advised, but we want to let everybody know that unfortunately neither of those trips are going ahead. While I'm talking about Salisbury East, I also need to let you know that the Year 6, the Year 8 and the Year 9 camps, which includes the Year 9 trip to Canberra, none of those are going ahead as well. Again, logistically trying to organise these trips with no idea when borders are going to be fully open. We've now seen what's happened in Victoria, but also because a lot of these trips are already paid for out of the fees that have come in. Everyone understands that we've provided the entire 3 school communities with a 33% discount this year. We also need to be able to manage our budget. So logistically, the camps can't go ahead. But secondly, in terms of managing our finances for the end of the year, those trips can't go ahead either. In terms of Strathalbyn and their Canberra trip, that is actually still under review because that's an optional trip. And because parents actually pay for the trip over and above school fees, those that wish to send their children to that, that is being monitored. However, again, we do realise that borders are still closed partially, and that maybe sending our students into the ACT at this stage needs to be strongly considered before we make a decision about that. The Strathalbyn leadership are looking at that, and we'll be making a decision by the beginning of next term. So please keep your eyes and ears open for that. In terms of other excursions that are happening at the 3 schools, they're going to be monitored on the basis of what we can afford for this year. In one sense, the reality is that because of the this pandemic that we've had and the financial constraints that have been placed upon both families and the school, 2020 is going to be a bit of the year that wasn't, whether it's camps, excursions, trips, and those sorts of things. So while we haven't made a full, complete decision about some excursions, we'll be looking at those. Those excursions that absolutely have to go ahead because of study requirements, then they will get first priority. But other excursions, unfortunately, will have to take their turn, and it'll be on the basis of whether we have the financial capacity to be able to run those as well. The final thing is that new announcements have been made today about social distancing, and it's now down to 2 square metres per person. This means that as of next term, chapels and assemblies will be restarting, and we'll be managing those within the requirements that have been laid down by the medical experts and the governments. But we are very much looking forward to be able to moving back and doing chapels and assemblies in a different form to what we've been doing this term. However, each sub-school and campus will be contacting you and advising you how that's going to be done. Certainly for both the junior school and middle school at Salisbury East, where there are over 500 students, we're going to have to think about how that's being managed and how we make sure that we meet all of the requirements while still trying to get as many students in as possible. That's it. Some great news, some probably disappointing news about camps and trips, and some things which we'll continue to monitor over the next few weeks, and we'll keep you up to date as soon as we can. That's it from me. I'm sure you've missed my wonderful face on these video things. It's been lovely chatting with you. If you've got any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact your relevant sub-school or campus, and I'm sure they can help you out. God bless. We'll chat soon. Bye.